Hey guys, it's Damien. I wanted to do a really quick video. I do a lot of reading outside of having my own business and spending time with my family. The one thing that I have an addiction to is actually is learning and constantly picking up on new concepts, new ideas, and ways to not only grow my business but to grow myself. One of the books that I'm reading right now that's fantastic is The Master Key System by Charles F. Hennell. This book is one of my most favorite books. I picked it up probably about 3 or 4 months ago. I think I've read it 2 or 3 times, or 3 or 4 times. I actually lost track of how many times I've read it. But this book is fantastic. It's a system. It's a method on changing the way that you think. And I did a couple of videos recently about the law of attraction, and very, very minutely just touched on some of the ideas and the things that I've picked up on from these books. I'm reading probably about between 8 to 10 books at once. And they're pretty much all in the same concept. This is another one, fantastic, by Joseph Murphy. Think Yourself, Health, Wealth, and Happiness. This is a great book as well. Has a lot of really great insights and information on how our minds work and what you can use, how you can use it to actually grow your business, to network with people, and to grow not only your business but yourself. And then lastly, The Power of the Subconscious Mind, another one by Joseph Murphy. These books, I'll put a little description in on the video description, a link that you can find these. I got these pretty much from Amazon. I don't get paid for promoting these books. But what I wanted to talk about tonight specifically was one of the things I picked up from the Master Key system, the Master Key book. There's an excerpt in this book on the success of service. A lot of times we don't really think, when you try to open a business or if you try to start a business, your mentality is really kind of focused initially on making money and profiting from what you do. And of course that's a part of it. The one thing that I didn't really look at it from a standpoint of was service to others, is the ability to help somebody either pick up on, there's 3 things that you can sell when you start a business. It's either going to be a service, it's going to be a product, or you can even sell knowledge. There's a lot of people who are in the knowledge business, selling books on how to do this and how to do that and make your life better, and just in general knowledge on how business works, on how to network and how to grow a business, marketing. All of that would kind of fall into that realm of knowledge. And there's really only 3 things that you can sell, and it's going to be one of those 3. So the reason why I say that is that I dug a little deeper into this book, and I was thinking to myself, what is it exactly that I do as a candy maker? And we make a lot of food products. What is it that I do that ends up giving someone a benefit other than just selling a product, taking money for that transaction, and then just moving on to another transaction? Everybody is either in the business to sell somebody something to make them feel good, to benefit them mentally or spiritually, or to help them learn a new concept or learn a new trade. And that's where the idea of selling knowledge comes into. If you're selling a service, that service could be something like a consulting firm or a business that has something to do with something outside the realm of a product, a physical, tangible product. But the one thing that's I picked up from this book that was really universal across the board, no matter what it is that you're selling, is the benefit that the person who buys it gets from whatever it is that you're transacting with them. So, in a sense, when you're trying to be successful at a business and you're trying to grow a small business into something more than it already started to be, and you want it to become something bigger, keep in mind the idea that you want to benefit that person as much as you possibly can with each and every transaction. And it may sound a little odd to think that way about really small transactions or everyday mundane transactions, but it really isn't, because when you end up getting a customer to come to you out of everybody they could have possibly done business with, you get a customer who comes to you and purchases your product, you have a great opportunity to get a customer for life. And then also, if they've had such a great experience, they're going to tell a family member about it. They're going to share that experience with somebody else, and then you're going to end up picking up an additional customer. So every single person that you come in contact with can have a huge, huge benefit, a huge possibility for your business to grow. If you look at it that way, So the other thing I was going to say was basically that in the end, every transaction that you come in contact with, every single customer, day in and day out can be an extremely beneficial transaction if you look at it that way. You would put your 100% all into everything that you do, no matter what the form of business that you're in. A lot of times when we send out packages of products, we'll actually end up adding some additional products for free or a sample of some kind. If you can over deliver to a customer, if you give them more than they expect when they open the package, or if they download a product, or if you create a service and you constantly, every single customer in some small way, shape, or form over deliver to what they expect, you'll always have a customer that comes back. If you are new to business, or if you're starting a business from scratch, I've been in retail myself. I've worked 20 years in retail before I ended up opening my business. Actually, this is my fourth or fifth business. I lost track, but fourth or fifth business. But this one has been one. This business has been extremely profitable and very, very fast-paced as far as the growth of what we've done so far. And you would kind of think to yourself, a lot of times, like when I started this business, the candy industry, the candy business, do they need another person making candy? Yes, they do. Yes, the industry as a whole, just specifically with what I do, snacks, candies, sweets, chocolates, cookies, all of that, there is a roughly around it's a $60 billion a year global business when it comes to candy and cookies, treats, and baked goods. It is enormous. So even as a small entity, as a small business, we have an opportunity to take a huge piece of that pie, especially utilizing the internet and marketing ourselves online. And what we really try to do is, again, strive to give the person who is on the other receiving end of the transaction, give them more of whatever it is that they're buying from you. Make sure that they walk away with something that's memorable and something that will basically kind of help them to tell their friends about who you are and what you do because of their own experience. When you boils down to it, you're at the end of the day, even though there is either a service, a product, or knowledge of some kind that you're packaging and selling to a customer, and you're promoting that, it really isn't the actual product or service that you're selling. It's the experience that the customer is going to walk away with. And I know that I'm not the first person to, of course, say this, but from my own experience being in the business that I'm in, it definitely is a proven fact, and it works every time. Of course, you'll have some customers that you're not going to satisfy. There are always going to be those customers no matter what. You can bend over backwards and make it right. If there's a problem or an error or a delivery issue or something gets damaged, and you still go bend over backwards to make that issue correct and make that customer's experience good, and they still walk away with a negative experience, you can't control that. And that's going to be part of the business. And no matter what business you're in or what service you sell, there's always going to be people who have some type of negative feeling or negative vibe, and that's okay. That's fine. That they have every right to choose whatever they want to choose when they have a transaction with you. But for the most part, you're really going to end up getting customers to come back when you over deliver. So what you want to try to do is just strive to give the customer way more as far as service and as far as the product's concerned. And it's kind of a unique scenario. Lastly, and I'll wrap it up really quick, is that when you're selling stuff online, it's not a lot of personal interaction, one-on-one person-to-person, face-to-face type of transaction. It's kind of one that's really more or less a transaction that once you have sold the product or sold the service and it's kind of shipped or given to the customer, you don't really have any other you don't have any other way to interpret the transaction once they get it themselves. So you really kind of rely on their feedback. For instance, if you're in a retail setting or if you're in some type of a business where you're in front of someone else's face and you can interact with them, if there's a problem, you can instantly resolve it. There's a resolution that's there instantly. When it's online, when you're selling something to someone in another state or another country, it may take a longer process for that to get resolved. So just kind of experience that. Just understand that's also, it's a little different way of having a customer service or a transaction with a customer. So just keep that in mind. But there's always going to be some challenges when you start your own business in regards to getting customers to give you positive feedback. But once you get that momentum going and you experience that, you'll know how to handle those situations when customers aren't exactly excited or it's not an experience that they want to remember. So I hope that helps you out. I'll have a handful of new videos. And remember, everything I talk about is everything I experience. I don't sit back and try to read a bunch of stuff and then kind of regurgitate it, in a sense, to tell you what I've read and I've never experienced. Everything I talk about are things that I've gone through and experienced, and I hope that helps you out. I kind of just keep it straight up and down when I do these videos. So I hope that helps. Thanks, guys.